Welcome to Fridays for Fundraising. In the next 5 minutes, you're going to learn one step you can take before you leave the office today that can move fundraising forward for your small nonprofit. Hi, I'm Kelly, founder of From Scratch Fundraising, where we help nonprofit leaders raise more dough without burning anything. Every Friday, I'm here to serve up one bite-sized fundraising assignment that you can finish in about an hour. Think of it as your weekly recipe for sustainable fundraising success. No overwhelm, just actionable steps that actually move the needle. This month, we're talking about annual reports. And in the prior 3 weeks, I've talked you through how to format, pick stories for, and pick data for your annual report. So I hope you are well on your way to having your annual report put together at this point. What I want to talk to you about is how we can make sure that our annual report lands in a way that is more impactful with our donors. Sending out your annual report is not a one and done activity. I think it's something that goes on your website. It's something you maybe send out physically. It's something you share in an email. Are there components of your annual report that you can chop up and put on social media? All of these things are really, really helpful. Can you remind the donors that your annual report exists throughout the year, because you just did a lot of work to make something that really should do a lot of heavy lifting for your organization over time. First things first, I want you to think about how you can roll out your annual report throughout the year and make it do more heavy lifting, make it do more for you because you put a lot of work into that thing. Second of all, I want to talk about impact meetings. This is something I am just more and more excited about the more my clients try it out. This was something that I implemented at the first organization I ever worked for. When we completed our annual report, we invited our donors into a meeting. We had a really nice conference room in our office. And we sat down with all of our donors, and we didn't read the annual report to them, but we did sit down with them. One, we hand delivered the annual report. Again, that was a very nice glossy printed old school annual report, but we handed them out there. We saved on postage, and it was personally delivered to our donors. We also had all of our program staff there, and they shared the data and told stories that were in our annual report, but our donors got to hear it from our program staff. And because we had just been working together with the program staff to put together the annual report, we were all kind of thinking about it. It was all in our minds. And so they were able to tell these great stories to our donors. And then the best part was the donors were in the room, and we opened it up for Q&A, and they got to ask questions like, well, why did you try that advocacy strategy? Have you thought about this thing? What is happening in regards to this topic that you all do advocacy work around? I didn't see that in the annual report, and I really care about that. It was so fun to be in a space where our donors got to ask those questions. And honestly, there were times that our donors asked questions that we were like, hey, that's actually a really good point. Like, we should look into that. Another organization that I worked for where we did this impact meeting, it was an art house cinema. And so we brought our donors and our cinema members into our space. We did a 15-minute presentation that was more or less sharing the stories and the data from our annual report. And then we followed it up with a screening of the most popular film from that year. And it was just so much fun. We had specialty themed concessions that went with the film. It was just such a fun event. We made sure that our donors were hearing the story. They were hearing about how our organization was growing and changing and how they could get more involved, because we launched a capital campaign at that impact meeting. And it's been so fun since I've shifted from front of house fundraiser to a consultant, because I've gotten to see how all of my different clients can use this idea to report back to their donors, and gotten really good feedback, because these are organizations where there's maybe a solo executive director or a very small staff, and having a whole audience of donors who are deeply invested in the organization ask questions and give feedback and ideas and get them bought in and excited. It's just such a neat opportunity. And this is really, really something I advocate is our donors don't give because they want stuff. Our donors don't give because they want thank yous. By giving you money, they are saying, I care. I want to be involved. I want to make a difference. Use me, right? And then we just say thank you and walk away. So what can you do? How can you leverage this kind of annual report energy to bring your donors really deeply into the impact of your organization, the plans your organization has for the next year, and get them engaged and excited about the coming year for your organization? It's going to create so much donor loyalty. So that's your homework assignment today, is think about whether or not it is possible for your organization to try out this impact meeting, this annual meeting framework that I have been piloting with some of my clients. It is really working well for everybody who has tried it out, who has decided that they have the right donor population for this. And I don't know that it's the right move for every single organization. As I say all the time, there's no such thing as best practice. There's best for you practice. But I'm seeing this work really, really well to inspire donor loyalty for a lot of my clients. And so I would love to see if you can think about a way to leverage this concept for your organization. So your homework assignment is plan it out. See if you can make it happen. It might not be feasible, but let's see if it is. And if you do give it a try, please let me know how it worked, what you did. I am so excited about this concept. It's working so well for so many of my clients. So give me some feedback. Kelly at FromScratchFundraising.com. I would love to hear about it. If you already do something like this, or if it's given you some inspiration for a new idea. If you're loving these weekly assignments and want the complete recipe for fundraising success, consider joining our Sustain and Thrive program. It's a 12-month program that takes you from setting up your fundraising foundation all the way through donor stewardship, board engagement, and even expansion strategies like major gifts, peer-to-peer fundraising, event-based fundraising, and more. We break down the monumental task of building a fundraising program into manageable, bite-sized assignments, just like this podcast, but with coaching support, a community of peers, and unlimited access to all of my templates and trainings. The best part? Pricing starts at just $25 a month, because getting fundraising support shouldn't leave you feeling like a burnt crust. Join us in Sustain and Thrive, where we're putting the fun back into fundraising. Go to FromScratchFundraising.com/apply to join today.
Now go make the world a better place.